Welcome to Zen Magic, the show where I teach you amazing magic tricks and do even more amazing performances. I'm your host, Matthew Zen, and this week we've got 3 two-card Monte variations. Let's go check them out. Okay, welcome back to Zen Magic. As you saw from the title of the video, we are doing 3 two-card Monte variations. Try saying that 3 times fast. But we're going to do 3 of them. We've got a gimmicked version, my version, and David Blaine's version. So I'm going to start with the gimmicked version. You might figure this out, you might not. It's pretty simple. We've got these 2 cards, a 9 of spades and a 9 of diamonds. I'm going to take the 9 of diamonds and it's going to go behind my back. Now all you got to do is just tell me what card's missing. Now of course you're going to say the 9 of spades, but you'd be wrong. The 9 of spades was behind my back. The 9 of diamonds never left my hand. Okay, if you didn't catch it, that's okay. But maybe some of you did catch that. I'm going to teach it to you right now. Let's learn how to do it. Okay, in case you haven't figured it out already, I said it was gimmicked. So you need 2 gimmicked cards. This is a double backer, and this is a double-faced card. I'm going to be doing a video on how to make gimmicks very shortly, but most of the decks I had actually come with double backers, but I had to make a double-faced card. So, we will do a video shortly on how to make double backers and double face gimmick cards. That's coming very shortly. I'm waiting for something to come in the mail. But when it does, we are going to make that video. It's very simple though. You can, for the purposes of this, we're just going to do it the simple way. Just get 2 junk cards and then glue them or double stick tape them together to create your double face and double back cards. There's a more complicated way. These ones are 1 card thick because I used a technique where I peeled them apart. Don't go doing that until I teach the proper method. It's very difficult, and there's a proper way to do it without ripping the cards. But if you don't have any gimmick cards and you don't want to go do that long process, just get some double stick tape and just tape the faces of 2 cards together and the backs of 2 cards together. So the setup to this is pretty simple. You're going to hold them just like this, alright, a little up like this, and show the 9 of diamonds. Now when you flip your hand over, you're going to draw the card down so it's in a different position. So from here to here, they're in 2 different positions. You think you're looking at 1 card. You can also go here, draw it back. So look, you're going to show the 9 of spades, bring your hand back, show the 9 of diamonds, just like that. It's another way to do it. But you want to change the positions of the cards as you turn them over. So in slow motion, it will look like this. You're bringing your hand back, just like that, and pushing this one out. So the positions of them switch. Just like that. And the reason you want to do that is so that they think that this is the other card. This needs to be in the same position as this card, so that when you flip it over, it looks like this was the card. People aren't going to pay attention to the fact that this was just right here and now it's under. People aren't going to notice that as long as you get the position of them changing. Say 9 of diamonds and 9 of spades. Only show them like once or twice. Don't keep going 9, 9. Don't do that. They'll get suspicious eventually. Because remember, when you repeat a trick, people catch on. So, you're going to take a 9, place it behind your back, and then tell them which one's missing. They'll say 9 of diamonds. You're going to flip it over in your hand as you bring it back out to show that they were wrong, and then you do the move again to show the 9 of spades that never left your hand. So that's something that does take a little bit of practice. Again, you can just double stick 2 cards together, and then you can reuse them if you ever need them again. So that is the gimmicked version. Let's move on to my version. Or actually, you know what? Let's start with David Blaine's version. Let's move on to that one. Okay, so this is David Blaine's version. You need a spectator for this one, because they're going to hold on to the cards. I don't have one right now, so I'm just going to show you what it would look like. you're going to show them the top card and ask them what suit it is. They'll say ace of diamonds. You say, good. But I just want you to remember diamonds. Alright, so it says diamonds. They say diamonds. Turn it over and hand it to them. And they can check. It really is the 9 of diamonds. And then you say, if that's diamonds, then what's this? They would say hearts. Or they might say ace of hearts. In that case, correct them. Say it's just hearts. Turn it over and say, I'm going to do a switch. But it's going to be so fast that you won't be able to see it. But to make it fair, this is what it looks like in slow motion. They're pinching the card. So this is how it looks. I would come like this. And now I would have the ace of diamonds, right? Which means you would have the ace of hearts, alright? Without looking at it, what should you say you have? And they would say they'd have the ace of hearts. It's like, you don't think they switched? They're like, no, they did not switch. You tell them to turn their hand over to show that they did switch. Let's learn how to do it. Okay, so this is David Blaine's version. You need 2 queens and 2 of any red card, preferably a lower value, like the aces or the 2s, maybe even 3s. I use the aces because that's what he uses. So the setup to the trick is you want the queens between the aces. So it should go ace, queen, queen, ace. Now, it doesn't matter which one is on top or bottom. That doesn't matter. I just put the diamonds on top. And they go on the top of the deck. Now, the key to this trick is something called priming. Priming is where you get people to think a certain way. So when I turn over the top card, I'm going to act as though I'm doing a double lift. Ask them, think diamonds. Turn it back over before handing it to them. I want them to think that this isn't really the ace of diamonds, because I want them to check it. Because while they're looking at it, I'm going to get a triple lift. Triple lift is like a double lift, but I have 3 cards. That's something you'll have to practice. The easiest way to do it is just to riffle the corner until you have 3, and then turn them over. That does take practice, though. And then call attention to the ace of hearts. They'll think it's 1 card because you acted like this was 2, but it's not. So they're pinching this just like this. It's very important that they hold it face down, parallel to the ground, and nobody can see it. Because they cannot look at it after you do the next part. You show them the ace of hearts, then you're going to turn them all back over and push off the first card. They think it's the hearts, but it's the first queen. And then you're going to give them the card like this. You say, this is what it looks like in slow motion, right? Or David Blaine, he goes, there, they switch. Now they switch back. Check to make sure. And that's something funny. It's like, here's what it looks like in slow motion. You give them the card, you take it, and then you're going to do that cover-up move we learned from hand sandwich. You're going to turn the card over and cover the other card with it so that they can't peek and see that it is their card. And say, see, now I would have the ace of diamonds. And then switch them back and then immediately say, without looking at it, what do you think you have? It's very important that you make it a game. You say, without looking at it, what do you think you have? And while they're thinking about it, you're going to do a top change. And the top change is very simple. You're going to push over and get a break on the card. Alright? So now you have a break on the second queen. You're holding the ace of diamonds. You're going to come back and put the card underneath it, and then you just pull out the other card. So that's what it looks like. You just go like that. So you switch it, you say, without looking at it, what do you think you have? And you come do this top change. But it needs to be clean. You got to practice that. You come by, you take it. You say, just like that. You're like, without looking at it. Now you have the other queen, and they have the other one. Hand them both back to them. They might say they have the hearts. Like, you don't think they switched? No. Hand them the other card, and then let them check. And that's David Blaine's version. It does require some complicated slides. Let's move on to my version. Okay, now my version is a little bit simpler. Now, when I do it, I like to have the order reverse. But you don't have to. But if you want to follow along, then put them in the order I have. Just switch the order. You want the queens on the outside this time. And this does not use the rest of the deck. And it doesn't need them to hold on to a card. So all you're going to do is you're going to say, alright, I've got a queen right here, and I've got another queen. All you got to do is tell me which one is which. They might say this is clubs, this is spades, or maybe they think this is clubs and this is spades. But when they decide to turn them over to show they're wrong, the queen's never left your hand. Let's learn how to do it. Okay, you probably noticed that I did some major flashing there, but when you perform it, you don't want to do that. I was just showing, because you already know that this is a trick, so it doesn't matter. But that's the setup you want. You want the queen, ace, ace, queen, or you can put it back to the other order. So you're going to do a count, and we learned briefly about what an Elmsley count is, where you make multiple cards look like one. This is a little bit different. You're going to pull cards off the top, but you're going to show the bottom card. And it's something where people don't see that if you do it fast enough. So you need to get in the habit of doing this. Make it fast, and don't flash the ace that's on top of it like I did. So you're going to pull off two cards, one after the other, so they get put on top of each other. Turn your hand over and show the queen. Place it back on top and deposit the ace. But they think it's the queen. Then do it again. Pull off that queen and show the other queen, and then put the other ace on the table. And then you want to hold these in your hand without flashing them. So just kind of like mix them in your hand like this, or set these down on top of the deck or whatever. And then ask them which one's which. Now the key to this trick is to have that excuse. You don't want them to know which one is which. So don't say, I've got a queen of clubs and a queen of spades. Instead, say I have one queen and two queens. And another queen, or whichever. Because you don't want them to actually know. Because then that ruins what your excuse is, to have them name which one is which. They'll say clubs, spades, spades, clubs. Show them that it's neither, and then show them that you had them in your hand the whole time. The key to this trick is to be quick, but also be able to conceal everything. You don't want to pull cards off, and then like you're flashing, like right here. Or you're mixing the cards with your hand face up. You don't want to do that. So like set these aside on top of the deck or whatever. But don't flash them. This is my version of the trick, and I'm starting to prefer David Blaine's version, but this trick works in certain situations. Like for a large group of people. Here's what I would think. If there's a table, do this version. But if it's like out on the street, then do David Blaine's version. They're both very powerful. The sleights are a little bit complicated, but you'll get them eventually. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed these versions of Two Card Monte. Just practice them. And we'll see you next week. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, be sure to give this video a thumbs up for me. And subscribe if you haven't already. You and I should also be best friends on Instagram and Twitter. Links to those are in the description. And comment below on any ideas you have for the show. And tell me about your reactions that you get. I love to hear how your performances go. Be sure to practice them so you can get those amazing reactions from people. As I mentioned before, I'm waiting for something to come in the mail. As soon as it gets here, we're going to be doing a brand new series to this channel where you're going to be able to comment live and all that stuff. It's going to be great. That's coming up soon. Be sure to hit that notification button so you'll be able to know when all those new videos come up. That's all I got for today. Remember, we perform to amaze. See you next week.